Yeah, there's a lot of that. So the execution is very key to actually deliver a product that really improves the learning or teaching or learning process that you want to improve. Because incorporating AI for the sake of AI is really easy. Like you can have a AI process in any kind of software these days, and it will do something. But making sure that something really adds value to the learning process is not quite as easy. And the other thing I mention is there's a lot of like hesitancy in the market actually. Like people is not really ready to go and buy a lot of AI based solutions. Not everybody is ready for that. Some people is just hesitant. They want to wait. They want to see how it establishes. And also some people is don't really. Some organizations, some institutions still are hesitant in that AI actually can deliver some value, or the way it can do that, or the privacy concerns, or the security concerns around it. So of course, this is still a market for early adopters and for people that is more innovative.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Learning podcast. My name is Joao Camargo, and my guest here today is Juan Camilo Montoya, who is the co-founder of EduNext and Human2Human AI. Juan, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited too.
Well, why don't we start off with you just telling everyone a little bit more about EduNext, about yourself, and also about Human2Human. What are some of those things that you got going on with both companies at the moment, and any other context that you want to share as well?
Sure, certainly. So I'm Juan Montoya. I'm a Colombian guy. I started a company 12 years ago, actually with my brother here in Colombia, and we started working on a specific niche at the time, which was an open source platform for delivering LMSs. This is the OpenEdX platform, and we worked in that space for quite a number of years. And that has been a really nice experience, and we have grown the company to a certain extent. And recently, because of all the changes that are happening with AI and all the innovations that we see happening in the edtech space, we started working on an AI-based project, which is a new spin-off, and it's called Human2Human.ai. So again, co-founded that with my brother, and we're growing strong in that new project as well.
That's so awesome. And talk to me a little bit more about how they complement each other. So tell me some context on, hey, who exactly is EduNext helping? Who exactly is Human2Human helping? And how they help each other to, of course, increase the impact that you have for your customers.
Right, certainly. So at EduNext, what we're doing is hosting and providing consulting services for the OpenEdX platform. So all of our customers have this in common. They have the platform and they are using it to deliver online courses at scale. Typically, this is a platform that works very well for large audiences. So all of our customers are dealing with that. And one of the common things we were hearing from them back a couple of years back or something is we want to have more engagement in our courses. We want to have our courses so with some innovations. We want to incorporate AI into our learning experiences. So everybody was experimenting with chatbots and whatever AI power tools they could find. And so as a response to that, a little bit of as a response to that, we created this new product, Human2Human, which basically embeds itself into the LMS, be that OpenEdX or actually any other LMS, and delivers inside your typical online course, some sort of more synchronous and more group-based experience. So collaborate with your peers, and you can learn with your fellow students towards a particular learning goal, and then you get assessed by the AI. So yeah, it was a response basically to some of the needs and the pain points they were feeling at the time.
That's awesome. And when it comes to those needs and those pain points, what are some of the ones that were most common between all of them? Like, hey, if the AI integration could do this two things for us, what were those things that kept happening over and over for your customers?
Yeah, certainly. Well, a couple of things. One was the feeling of isolation, because typically online courses are a very lonely experience. So you just sit there and you go through the materials and you go through the videos or through the quizzes, but it feels very lonely, and that probably brings some disengagement. Like people sometimes don't finish the courses, or they just lose interest, or they just don't keep track. There's not enough accountability. So that's a big component that our solution hopefully brings into that, the feeling of companionship, working with others, working with peers, and also the accountability that comes with it. And the second one that comes to mind is the because you have chatbots all around you. Like there's a lot of chatbot solutions, but most of those are very unstructured. So you just go with the chatbot and you ask anything you want, and you get feedback or you get tutoring sessions. But what we build with our tool is a way to have structured conversations that actually have certain structure and certain specific goals that need to be accomplished. And the AI is there to make sure that the students go through the right thinking process or through the right steps in order to accomplish that particular goal. So that structuring part is very important, and it's something that our customers have valued.
Interesting. So in a way, they can interact in whatever best frames their current situation, and then hey, here's what I need to do in this specific situation right now. And then another week from then, they have another situation that they have to go through, and then they deal with that separately every single time.
Exactly. One of the things we built was an editor of functionality for educators to create the kind of experience they want their students to have. Time-bound activity, for example, where they create, okay, I want them for the first 3 minutes to think about this concept. Then for the next 10 minutes, I want them to discuss ideas and collaborate with each other in order to come up with a joint definition of whatnot. And then for the last 10 minutes, I want them to reflect on what everybody was saying and maybe come up with some next steps or something like that. So that's the structure you built in. And then when at delivery, when the activity is happening with the students, the AI is making sure that structure goes, like the activity follows that particular structure.
Very cool. And talk to me a little bit more about you've been with EduNext and obviously grown the company now for many years, and now starting something that's not completely new, but it's of course a new endeavor with your brother once again. So how do you feel, or what is the feeling that you get when you have built something for such a long time and now are starting fresh with a different project as well?
Yeah, that's super interesting because I think our previous experience was it worked very well. Basically, we found this niche, we found this great technology, open source by Harvard and MIT, and started working on it because it was really hard on the technical level. It was really hard to get it deployed and to fix it and to make sure it ran properly. There was a market for consultancy and for expertise on that, so we started working on that and becoming more and more knowledgeable on the platform and acquiring customers and help that. And we bootstrapped the whole thing like with our own resources and growing slowly and didn't reach we didn't look for any capital, external capital or anything like that. That was good, but it was also like a slow growth. It took us like 10 years to come out of anonymity and start acquiring in bigger accounts. As opposed to now, which is AI is so fast paced, everything is moving so quickly. You really have to go back to startup mode, and you really have to like push yourself harder and harder to be fast enough not to be left behind, basically. But now we're like, yeah, flexing again those muscles of really innovating and really working really fast paced cycles, and also looking for capital because now we feel that bootstrapping is not really an option because it moves so fast. So we probably need to get external resources to move faster.
And are there any specific? Thank you for sharing that. By the way, it's interesting to see someone who of course has had an endeavor before and now is like starting new, especially now with everything moving so fast. And is there any specific challenges that you remember from when you were starting EduNext that you're also experiencing now with Human2Human, and how you're going to approach that differently, or are you going to approach that differently in any way?
Well, certainly some of the fundamentals, sorry, never change. Like product market fit is really hard finding product market fit. You really have to have a lot of conversations with your potential customers and iterate and go over and over with them what are specific pain points they have and what specific ways you can deliver a product that solves them. So that is similar in a way. But one of the important different parts is that before we were working with the open source product, so we went through all different stages. The first one, trying to differentiate ourselves from the commons that was out there that everybody could take. Try to build things outside of the open source that would differentiate us. And then we had this transition into like fully embracing the open source and building everything we were building out in the open for everybody to take, but also like position ourselves to company that was as a company that was very knowledgeable in this aspect. That paid out, as opposed to now, which we're like back in startup mode and not necessarily doing open source right now, just working to improve our product as fast as we can so that we deliver some value in this like very fast innovative space that is AI and tech.
That's interesting. And how are you finding it now? With I think the ed tech space is already kind of very competitive. I'll just use those words. And AI, I dare I say, even more competitive at times. So how are you finding that balance of being able to provide something that's of course really good and that has great product market fit, but also can be very challenging to stand out and stay apart from all the noise that exists?
Yeah, that's right. It's very competitive. There's a lot of things happening. One of the advantages is that everybody is early stage basically because all these technologies are so new. So there's not like a big um, established player that has all the clients and all the solutions. Everybody's like from 3 years ago or something. So in that regard, it's a bit more democratized in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, prices is still tough, and because typically you're not providing the full spectrum of solutions, you're just providing one solution that needs to integrate into an ecosystem. Of course, the big players that have the ecosystems have the upper hand there.
Mm-hmm.
Still, they are not so fast to innovate sometimes or to break some of the rules sometimes. So hopefully there's a space for small players as well. Maybe there will be some consolidation in the market after some time. It's possible. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, interesting. So, in correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me that because, as you said, everybody's kind of on a level playing field, there isn't the noise itself isn't what's isn't the challenge that happens, but really it's the execution behind the scenes on like making sure that you do things right, do it the right way, whoever you're speaking to, feed into their specific pains, their specific challenges, and then when you actually execute that, make sure it actually solves those problems, and then wait for the noise to kind of dissipate on its own, because the people that can do it and the people that can't are going to like weed themselves out as time goes by.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. So the execution is very key to actually deliver a product that really improves the learning or teaching or learning process that you want to improve. Because incorporating AI for the sake of AI is really easy. Like you can have a AI process in any kind of software these days, and it will do something. But making sure that something really adds value to the learning process is not quite as easy. And
Mm.
the other thing I want to mention is there's a lot of like hesitancy in the market actually. Like people is not really ready to go and buy a lot of AI based solutions. Not everybody is ready for that. Some people is just hesitant. They want to wait. They want to see how it establishes, and also some people just don't really. Some organizations, some institutions still are hesitant in that AI actually can deliver some value, or the way it can do that, or the privacy concerns, or the
Mm.
security concerns around it. So of course, this is still a market for early adopters and for people that is more innovative in spirit digital.
For sure, huh? And I've found a lot of people have been talking about the hesitancy, especially I guess with some of the older CEOs or people that in the company that's like, hey, I'm not sure if this is the right move. What's like the most challenging part of getting them to step over those hurdles of being hesitant and not being so sure, and making that call? Because I think we all know that if you don't adapt or adopt AI, you're going to be left behind. But a lot of these CEOs, founders, and other leaders sometimes don't really have that notion. So what has been the most challenging part to, I guess, educate them and build that trust with them?
Yeah, it's super challenging because there's a lot of information out there about the potential harms of AI or the potential challenges with implementing AI strategies, which I totally agree with. I mean, there are certainly a lot of challenges there. So the way we have approached it is by creating a tool that is very flexible, so that it allows you to incorporate it to the extent that you feel it has value. It can be a small thing that happens just in a time boxed activity with a specific bounded also number of learners, or it can be deployed at a very large scale. It's up to the adopter basically to decide how much they want to get their feet wet. And hopefully that will be a progression, right? So they will be feeling more comfortable over time as we start using the tools and start getting the value out of it.
Yeah, they get like a little bit of value here. They understand it. Oh, now I have more confidence to do a little bit of a bigger step, and then a bigger step, and then maybe implement it everywhere. Huh.
Exactly. And in the meantime, the AI capabilities are actually improving as well. So our first product is it's quite basic. It does some of the things, but we know that it's going to grow a lot in functionality and in value as the AI capabilities are being developed. For example, like video processing and vision are becoming a thing right now. So you can now have the AI like get the feed from a camera and actually understand what's going on in that scene in real time. So that's going to be super valuable for a specific product because we think that in the future, in the near future, actually, we're going to be able to incorporate like the capability for the facilitator to sense what's going on from from your body language, not only from your output or text, but actually from what you're displaying in camera. So that's going to be
Yeah, that is very cool. I've seen so many of those videos, which are maybe a couple months old now, where it's like, "Hey, ChatGPT or whatever it is, what am I doing now?" And like it starts describing it in real time. So being able to use that for calls, conversations, training, all those things would be very, very cool as well. And when it comes to the human to human company and what you guys are doing, is it now going to be its own standalone thing as a different product, a different thing for new customers, or is it also or is it only going to be that supplementation to EduNext and what you guys do? Is it now two different ventures or two ventures that are working together?
No, it's definitely a separate thing. We even created it as a separate company a
Yeah.
couple of years back. And of course, it works for a lot of our customers because it serves a need that they had. But we didn't build it on top of the same technology stack. We built it as a separate thing that can be integrated into any LMS, basically. So we started with our customers because it's the easy place to start.
Of course, as you should.
The kind of service and the kind of quality we can deliver. But it's open, of course, for a lot of other platforms to be integrated.
And what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that companies make when they are trying to integrate AI in the right way to supplement their operations, what they're doing internally, and the solutions that you're providing? Because so many companies are obviously attempting to do what you're doing with human to human, but they try to do it by themselves and aren't able to actually achieve it. What do you think are some of those mistakes that doesn't allow them to have a product or a solution as complex or as I'll use the word, well, what word am I looking for here, as efficient as what you guys have?
Right, right. So yeah, probably what I would say is the most common mistake we see is that you don't really recognize how much effort it goes into fine tuning the internal behavior of the AI. You experience something like ChatGPT and it works really well, and you tell it anything you want, and it actually performs and it delivers that. But it's very freeform, so you can tweak it at any point in time. You can change direction, you can go crazy and just do something else, and it will comply because its mandate is basically just go with the flow.
Yeah.
If anything changes, just change with it. And the mistake I was pointing out was not recognizing how much work it takes to actually like put in place the guardrails and enforcing some kind of specific flow, specific behavior. In our case, the specific structure of the activity. It requires a lot because it's not as simple as telling it, try to stay on track. It won't work. I mean, as soon as one of the players, one of the students, one of the persons in the conversation starts to go off task with the right prompt as well, it will just go. So you want to like make sure that the tool is there, but it's doing what it's supposed to do, not just being a general purpose tool.
That's so true, and it's so funny because I think now more than ever, ChatGPT and Claude and all these things, they have become really good at also inventing things. Like you're trying, like, hey, here's all the prompts or all the things I want you to do, and then it just starts creating things that are completely unrelated, or it doesn't. I wouldn't say the word lie because I don't think it knows truth or lie, but it creates things that are unrelated to the prompts that you give it. So it's like you're now being fed wrong information, and it can of course change and affect the outputs and the results that you're trying to achieve. So not having that linear path that you were mentioning, I think can be very dangerous for companies as well. But I'm not sure if you agree.
Yeah, certainly. As you mentioned, because everybody knows that AI models are trained on the internet, basically, right? So the internet has a lot of wrong information and falsehood, and if the AI model is based on that, it's only logical that it will at some point just deliver crazy information just because it's in their data set, right? So those are the kind of guardrails I'm referring. Depending on your specific needs, you will need to go very, very deep on certain aspects of the data set in order to make sure that the outputs are really like consistent with what you want to deliver in terms of training process or the educational process.
Awesome. Very cool. Juan, I have two final questions here for you. One is a question that I've been asking everybody, so you will also be a victim of it. And we'll start with that one. So let's just say, of course, human to human is still in its earlier stages, and there's many growth goals that you guys have. And even though I don't know what exactly those goals are, when having the lens of achieving those goals, let's say you had a magic wand that you could just wave and it could solve one thing in the business, a challenge, an obstacle, a problem, whatever it might be, that would allow you to achieve all those growth goals just like that. And some people, they say, hey, I'll get $1 billion in funding, and I would get that too. That would be my answer. But let's say it's something that you actually can control, something that's in your day to day that keeps knocking on the door, a challenge, an obstacle. You solve that one thing, you achieve your goals just like that. What's that one thing you want to solve in the business?
Well, the first thing that came to mind was certainly funded. I wouldn't go for like $1 billion, much more, but instead I would go for a much smaller amount that fits basically with our current profile, the size of team we have, because you cannot grow from 1 to 1,000 like overnight. Maybe you can grow from 1 to 10x, and then maybe from 10x to 100x, but it takes some time and it takes some effort to actually grow. So funding, like getting funding for the next stage from the next 6 months or maybe 12 months would be like my first wish for this magic wand. But okay, if we leave aside the funding, the next on the technical aspect, hmm,
It could also be because of, and sorry to interrupt you, but it could also be since the goal is funding, what problem would you need to solve that would allow the funding to happen? Something along those lines as well. Maybe that's another frame that you can use as well. But I'll leave it to you. It's your answer, not mine.
I'll take it on the technical side of things. So we really want to do things with video, but video latency is an issue. So we need the video latency to go as low as possible so that the AI is capable of processing. I remember that we're working on group settings. So there is 3, 4, 5 students in the room, each of them with their webcam feed, and the AI needs to process all those 5 feeds of video really quickly in order to understand what's going on. If, for example, a question gets asked and some students express with their body language, express that they are not sure or what they want or something like that. So that it needs to be reacting really, really quickly to those. So on the technical side, my wish would be like to get those latencies down as much as possible and be able to process that information that's coming in real time. Yeah, those two probably come to mind really quick.
Awesome. I like those. Awesome. And then final question here for you. It's actually not a question from me. It's a question from our last guest to you, and they had no idea who you were. And this is a bit of an interesting one. I think very fitting for our conversation as well. So here's the question. In a world where technical innovation is scaling very quickly, if you had $1 million today and had a week to make a change in your company to implement AI and make a lot more revenue, where would you invest those dollars?
I need to invest in the span of a week.
Yes.
Wow, that's tough. I don't know. I'm not good at spending myself too much. Like I had that $1 million as investment, I would try to like spending in a much longer time frame.
Yeah.
But if like in order to provide an answer, like not to fail on the task, I would say probably acquisitions. Like I would go and acquire like partner with some other company in an acquisition kind of way, to like enhance our capabilities, because otherwise it's impossible. Like what can you do in a week that really delivers the value? So I'll probably think of like who can I partner with? How can I find in a week and partner with them and use this money to partner with them so that we grow our capabilities together or something.
Interesting. I like that answer. And then I'll cheat this time to help you out. Let's say you didn't have that week timeline and you have a little bit more freedom. What would it be for you?
If the time was longer,
Yeah, they went tough on you. Yeah, they said that the time frame I think is a tough one. But I'll take that one off right now.
Yeah, basically hiring more people and strengthen our team. Maybe with that money, maybe I could like triple our team and ensure them like 1 year contracts or something, so that we will have much more manpower to like push the accelerator. And it's not only developer power; it's also product development, educator, people that will help us like market the thing, like go-to-market strategies, those kind of things. Yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Juan, thank you so much for your time. This has been a great talk. Where should people go if they want to go learn a little bit more about you, of course, about EduNext or Human2Human?
Yeah, definitely. EduNext.co and Human2Human.ai. Those are our websites. And you will find all our socials, all our YouTube channels there, and also by the names as well. So if anyone is interested, we invite them to go there and check us out.
Amazing. Sounds good. I will, of course, leave everything down below here. And if you enjoy listening to this conversation and want to hear more conversations like this, please subscribe. And if you're watching until now, I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Juan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.